And the first myth is we're all in this together. Tell us more.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've heard, and I mean, maybe you've even done it, and maybe I've done it too, is to stand in front of a group of people at the launch of a change initiative and say, look, guys, we're all in this together. And the idea of that is to kind of coalition, we're all doing this together, we're all part of one big team, we're all going to move forward together. And I think that's a big mistake, that setup. And I've been in the audience when the leader has been saying that from the stage to a town hall meeting or whatever, and I felt the bristling of people, um, because it puts a lot of people off. One of the reasons is that, well, the leader is in a very different position in terms of change than the rest of the people in the organization. If you think about a train going through a tunnel, the leader or the leadership, the senior people, because they're not necessarily true leaders, but nonetheless, they see themselves as leaders. They're at the front of the train. They saw what was coming before anyone else, around what was coming. They were able to explore all the options. Were the ones that made the decision about what to do about it and put the plan in place. And now they're saying to people who maybe are only hearing about this for the first time, have no idea about the context, don't have access to this information, have quite a lot of distrust for authority figures anyway, because of the world we live in. They're being told we're all in this together. Those people are further back in the train. So for the people at the top, they've gone through the darkness potentially and they're coming out into the light when the rest of the organization is just heading into the darkness. We're not all in this together. And what it leads to in terms of leadership behavior is a an ignoring of the very individual journey that the people within the organization are having towards change, and a sort of one size fits all approach to how we're going to take people on the journey, as if everyone is having the same experience at the same time.
How do we change that, Blair? If we recognize that either in ourselves or in our current culture as a communication style, very top down, how do we change that?
Well, it starts earlier. So the first thing that we have to focus on as leaders, I think, is trust. Without trust, and there being two elements of trust actually, the first being trustworthy, and the second demonstrating a willingness to trust others. That's what creates a culture of trust. Without trust, even if you're standing up there and authentically saying, I'm in this with you, no one really believes you, right? Because they can't trust you as a source of information. So in the past, I would have said, before you launch change, get trust in place. I can't say that now because change is constant. So you're always going to be in the middle of change and there's always more change coming. So in the light of that, you have to just start investing in trust from wherever you're at in the change journey in this moment. And like I said, there's two aspects of that. The first being trustworthy. There's a lot of data. I like the Edelman Trust Barometer for this, but there's other data around this, demonstrating that we have lost trust in authority figures and institutions as sources of information. We're more likely to trust leaders in our own organization than anyone else because, well, than leaders outside of our organization, because we know them to an extent and we can see who they are to a greater extent. But nonetheless, you have to make sure you're trustworthy as a source of information. Two aspects of that. The first is to be consistent in words and deeds. So if you said something was important to you, you have to act that way as well. There's no point saying something was important and then betraying those ideals, at some future date. And the other aspect of being trustworthy is removing the mask and revealing who you are as a person, being willing to make authentic human connections with people. being a human being, a rounded human being, not just a polished version of yourself, because we don't particularly trust polished versions of people.